probably going to end up in a legal challenge this year.
Is it?
Oh, this year. From the club or from
No,
other
not from the
orgs?
club.
From LTDA?
No.
From the UCG?
TFL?
No.
From the RMT?
No. No.
Here's the clue. 3 syllables.
Please like, subscribe, comment, and hit the notification bell for any future videos.
We could have asked Grant some things because he's got to
We
be.
still can. We still
He's
can.
been in the game for a few years, longer than all of us.
Put together.
Yeah, no, he's done. I think you're about 5 years before me, Grant, aren't you? What's that?
This
53,
is my second
57?
badge. My first badge was 47.
Oh, wow, no, you're a little bit before me.
35 years this year.
35, I'm 27. Yeah, man and boy. And how long have you been leader of the LCDC rock band?
The most hated group in the cab trade. Well, I've been in it about 31 years, and I've been chairman for the last 15.
Yeah.
So when I was in it, I was just in it. And then I've always liked to have I love this trade, right? That's probably, and we had a committee at the club, like we still got now, of like-minded cab drivers. And so I went on the committee at one stage, and that was when the trade was a bit different to now. And you'd be a bit more militant in senses that we would go around London sticking posters up on railway arches and doorways, and we would literally be out in the cab early hours of the morning with buckets of paste sticking up
Bill stickers.
bill stickers. Yeah,
What did they say, the posters?
they was everything, whether it was the carriage office or whatever's, and all our opinions on everything, right? And you drive along a street like Southwark Street, 2 a.m, there'd be lovely big red post boxes facing the road, so we'd be pasting them up, and obviously, the following week, all these posters would appear about the cab trade.
Yeah.
And it was a bit sort of, that's how we used to fly by, really.
Wouldn't that be an offence?
It would be offence, yeah. They got to catch you first.
But your name's on it.
See, when we was talking about all these abstracts, I was going to say none of them apply unless you get caught. It's true.
Yeah.
You know?
But with that with posters, you could have hired someone to put those up, couldn't you?
Publicly hired or
In an illegal fashion. So if someone did it illegal.
And sometimes
Bill
we didn't
posting.
put our name on it. We would just make a statement about the cab trade.
Okay, then, yeah.
Because we had the badge. We've always had the badge newspaper.
Yes.
That goes out.
So what was the grounding of starting the LCDC, like the starting of the UCG, the starting of the LTDA being the oldest?
Yeah, I think when I got out, the first year I got out, I was in the LTDA. Mm-hmm. Because when you got out, it was sort of the big one, right? And they had a paper that they used to then that was in Great Suffolk Street. There used to be the paper bins there and, Brights and all that. And, of course, you read it. I think it was Harry Fagan. And you'd read it. And I always wanted, because what I can't get my head around, right? Let me just say this straight off the bat, right? What I cannot understand about cab drivers is this. You do the knowledge, 3 years, 4 years, whatever. You go out on that bike in all weathers, the rain, the snow, the sleet, you go to your loved ones, I'll see you later, I'll be back tonight, right? You get home frozen, a numb arse, right? And then if that ain't bad enough, you have to have a bit of a microwave dinner that was in the oven hours ago, and you say, I can't speak, I've got to do these points and stuff like that, right? You get your badge. After that, and the majority of cab drivers go, that's me done, yeah? Mm-hmm. I ain't going to join nothing. I don't care. So you've grafted your arse off to get into this industry, and at the end of the day, there's only 20,000 of us in the whole world. The whole world. And the whole world love London black cabs. Mm-hmm. We're iconic, we're famous. And the majority of drivers, once they get that badge, that's their lot. Yeah. They go, I don't do politics, mate. Yeah, but no, this industry that you're in, because you're a cab driver, bought your ass, sent your kids to uni, give you lovely holidays, yeah? Kept you in a lifestyle that you like. I know it's graft, but what job ain't graft? And you had a life out of this cab trade, and you cannot be asked to be a member of any trade group. And this ain't me waving the flag for the club, right? It's not. Because I get people phone the club up now in trouble, and they go, the worst thing a cab driver says to me, right, is this. You know what I mean, Grant? Sorry? I got to let them the carriage up, it's like, or I've been done by the old bill, you know what I mean? I go, yeah, well, don't worry. Give me your membership and I'll get you to the solicitor. No, well, you know what I mean, Grant? How long have you been out? 15 years. But I've never been in anything. Why's that then? Well, you know what I mean, Grant? You know what it's like? No. I've been in something for 30 years. I don't know what it's like. What is it like? Well, you know, they got every excuse under the sun. And naively, right? I am naive. The fact that I do this job as chairman of the club, right, drive my family mad, build up an anti-Grant Davis following on Twitter, which I don't give a two hoots about, right, is this. I used to think naively that once you've done the knowledge and got your badge, right, everyone would want to protect our industry, right? I cannot believe the amount of drivers who get their badge and don't give a rat's arse about the industry, right? Only want to talk to me when they're in trouble, or they can see some writing on the wall with the cab trade. They've had years out of it, earning a wage, and then go, God, Grant, what's going on? It's bollocks, isn't it? I go, yeah, it is. The fact, because I always used to think that the cab trade would be a bit like in America. You had the Teamsters, right? Yeah. And I still think it now, that we should have only one trade organisation, and every cab driver could be in that.
I
should
agree.
be in that organisation, right?
Yeah.
Like I said, this ain't an advertising for the club. Far from it, right? I love my members, and the others who don't like it or don't like me or don't want to join, I don't care. But what I'm saying is, we should have one org where people could stand and get voted in and out, right? For like 2 years. But the cab trade votes on whether they want you or you or you or me, right? That's how it should be. Because, and again, what pisses me off with cab trade is, sorry about the rant, but since I knew I was going to come on here, I'm driving over here, right? And I'm thinking, there's a lot of things I want to say. And Alan McGrady, who's the vice chairman on the club, he said to me, Grant, take it easy, Grant, don't upset him and all that. And I come to a point where after 35 years, right,
it's all coming out today.
It's bottled it right up for 35 years.
It's therapy. It's therapy.
We could, the camera, we'll go out there.
We could go down the pub, couldn't we? Have a pint and leave it here.
I'm the one in the corner, right? That everyone often leaves, right? So, but I used to think, right, it'd be like Teamsters, right?
Yeah.
Everyone joins it. And when I see the troubles and the tribulations the cab trade have had, like recently with bus lanes, Uber, stuff like that, you get people phone me up or stop me in the cafe and say, what are you doing about that or this? I say, I know what I'm doing. What are you doing? You're not even in nothing, yeah? And like that old saying, no taxation, no representation. If you're not in an org, right, don't moan to me about what the orgs are doing.
But do they have the audacity to do that?
They do it all the time. And if you look on Twitter, everything that goes wrong, you get the merchants on the Twitter go, you got to go to court, sue them. Why ain't you all suing them?
Yeah.
Right? Reality is, I'll go into my solicitor in Fleet Street, have a cup of tea, sit down, boom, right, 500 quid an hour. What is it you want, Grant? I want to go to court against this and this and this, right? It all costs money. And what the drivers don't understand, who are not in anything, right? An org can only be as successful as their membership, right? So if the club or whatever haven't got a big membership, that means they ain't got the money in subscriptions, which means they can't pay a big legal bill. It's so obvious, right? It's so obvious. They want the orgs to do everything while they are not in nothing, right? They want the orgs to sort their life out while they just go work, right? And a point I want to make is like UTAG, right? I was in UTAG. I put my money in, right? But I think, and trust me, when I say this, it's not in any way derogatory to UTAG because I supported it, right? But I think at the height of UTAG, there was about 3,000 drivers subscribing, paying in, right? When you think we got like 20,000 drivers and only 3,000 of them, 4,000 of them, wanted to protect their industry by putting in a couple of £100 a day's work, one day a year. Here's my money, crack on with it, right? The fact that they don't, and the fact that I've given up counting the amount of demonstrations I've been on where drivers are driving round with fares in, right? I don't get involved, right? I mean, the drivers have got a lot to answer for, right? Because there was a saying we had at the club, and it was you can never rely on the drivers, right? You call a demo, half don't turn up. You need to raise some money, they don't put in, but they want you to do it. They expect you to do it, right?
You've put yourself in that position, though, Grant. You're there because you've got the passion.
I do, but the trouble is, what I'm saying is today, cab drivers need a wake-up call, right? And what I'm saying today is, again, this ain't waving the flag to join me. It's not, right? We got more trade groups now than almost drivers, right? Because when I started, it was like the LTDA and Unite, and then the club, and then Alan Fleming. When Alan Fleming became chairman, that really appealed to me, right? So he's a little bit like me in the sense that I don't like injustice, love the cab trade, it's given me a great life, and I want to put something back, right? Which is the minority of cab drivers, right? If we're honest. And that's what happened. But now we got the club, the LTDA, the GMB, the UCG, you could say Taxi PR are involved now. You got another new one. You got Unite. I think there's about 7 or 8 organisations, right? And that's why I said I really do feel, and have felt all my life, that we should only have one trade group in London. Because, say another trade group says, this is what we're going to do. I might have some members who say, you know what, I like that. I'm going to leave Grant and join Paul, right? But what that does, whoever they go to, whoever Paul's organisation is, they're never going to have sufficient members and funds to really make a difference, right? By leaving the LCDC, our subscriptions drop. So the money you've got to use to do legal challenges falls, and you're never really going to have significant money to do anything worth of any value, yeah? And that's what they don't understand.
We're not united enough to have one group.
We're never united. It's like, I look on Twitter, and the cab trade's like football. It's like football rivalry,
Worse than football.
And you get the idiots, the trolls on Twitter that they don't want to put their name to anything. They want to put a football badge as if you've got to be scared of them, right? Mm-hmm. And they're idiots, mate. Absolute. I always say Twitter's a great place for cowards.
Yeah.
I love this.
You need a beta blocker, Grant.
I just love this trade, and we got loads of problems, right? And the key thing about this cab trade is there's no unity.
No unity.
There is no unity.
Let's get unity.
It's a constant war.
No, let's have it.
How do we get it, though, Grant? How do we
I
get
don't
it?
think you will. I don't think you will, because, like I said, now coming into 2024, we got massive problems, right? Oh, massive problems.
Egos.
We got a monopoly of vehicles, yeah, and we've just seen the warranty's gone up, and you have to pay £250 excess on every warranty job now, and the cabs are going up £1,500 a quarter. There's a monopoly. We haven't got no choice. That's really unhealthy. Knowledge numbers are the lowest.
But that's a debate on the that part, Grant, and that's the other thing. We do need to have. This is the thing, actually. It's not so much that we're diversive, because it really is diversive, but it is that as soon as you start debating, there are people who come with their counter argument, which their counter argument is you're a slag and you're an idiot, and there's no.
What, you on Twitter already? Go on. Yeah.
There's no balance to the argument. So, for example, you say about the monopoly. And so I am of the idea that there's no other way other than a monopoly, because it's a small market, 20,000 drivers, one vehicle, it's all the same. That's good for us having it all the same. You bring in a second vehicle, no one wants to buy it because they all want to buy the other vehicle. The second vehicle is cheaper, still no one wants to buy it. So there's no way of creating competition.
That's what happened with the Dynamo, right?
Yeah.
They brought
the
that
Dynamo
in
was
cheap.
a bad vehicle anyway.
That should never have got.
Should never have been licensed anyway. I don't know how you get an electric wheelchair in the Dynamo, but that's another subject.
You've got to
right?
be 4'3" like me.
Yeah, it'd be midgets only.
I'm the smallest one out there.
Speak the carriage office about that.
Yeah.
But I mean, people say to me, yeah, but it's the icon, right? What is the icon? Because I could take you to Waterloo Station you come out and there's a silver Vito Euro 4, a navy blue Euro 6 Vito, yeah? A Nissan Dynamo, a silver TXE, and maybe one of the last TX4s, right? All different vehicles, all different colours.
Yeah.
And no one there goes to the front cab at the rank and says, "Excuse me, are you a taxi?" None of them. Silver Vito. "Are you a taxi? Are you a London black cab?" They know it. It says taxi, right? We're the icon, right? We're the icon. Two things I think that define the cab trade in London is the knowledge and the vehicle, right?
Yes.
But I do not believe the reason we are facing problems is we got a monopoly and the vehicle is so expensive. It's stopping part-timers, it's stopping suburban drivers, stopping drivers coming back in the trade. We can't have it. You just can't have a healthy cab trade where we've got 100,000 mini cabs, the opposition, right, driving around in Kias and everything else, right? And they're saying to you, you do 4 years on the knowledge, you come out and they go, "There's your cab. You want to buy it, dear son? With interest, it's 117 grand. Drivers go, "Fucking really? Bloody hell, yeah."
It's not 117 grand, but
Well, no
I
one
hear what
ever
you're saying.
keeps it, right? They always back it, so
Yeah.
there's no balloon payment. I get it.
Yeah. There's ways of like you're not paying out that money. There's ways of doing it, and I don't think there's no part timers left. There's still part timers out there. You can rent.
Not
You
a
can still
lot,
rent.
though. Not a lot.
No, I know, and that is a issue. It's definitely an issue.
It is an issue, right? And,
Yeah.
and that leads me on to another subject I wanted to talk about with you and Dean and all that today. Is this with the knowledge numbers, right? We got a vehicle that's over 100 grand. The knowledge numbers are failing, right? If you looked at a business plan of the cab trade, you think it's going that way or you think it's going that way, right? And we cannot, and we sit around pontificating, right? Arguing between ourselves, right? Where we should all be united in one thing. It is the survival of the best cab service in the world, right? And like I mentioned with the vehicles, for me, we could have a choice, right? But we are held under this archaic conditions of fitness. And when I see people from other trade groups lambaste me and slag the club off for suggesting the conditions of fitness, right? I don't know what planet they're on, right? Because for me, if we brought another vehicle in, and the vehicle I'm going to talk about is one I've been talking with people out of London, is you got this new Ford Torino, right? Yeah, and
I don't know it.
And the only thing is, it's got 6-seater, air conditioned, wheelchair ramp, hearing loops, whatever, blah blah blah, right? But it hasn't got a turning circle. If you think the reason people use us is a turning circle, how come Addison Lee using black people carriers absolutely boomed, right? And my Twitter trolls, I'm not giving Addison Lee another G like you think, right? I'm just saying their vehicles predominantly are black people carriers. Yeah. Black because of us, right? Predominantly, they want to jump on our iconic colour, right? And what I'm saying is with cycle lanes, LTNs, all this, right? Are you really telling me if we could bring in another vehicle without the turning circle, the public wouldn't use us?
Do you think that's going to reduce the price that much?
It will do.
How much? You've done your research.
Well, yeah, I've spoke to them, but I can't speak because...
Why?
No, I can't.
You've spoken.
Yeah, but I can't talk about price because they haven't really...
Yeah.
I used to speak with Roy McMasters and he sent me an email because I was having this discussion with Steve Mack at the LTDA, and I think the figure was about 10 grand more it cost on a vehicle, right?
For their one?
For the turning.
Oh, 10 grand for the turning circle.
10
Okay.
grand, right?
Yeah.
So all I'm thinking is if you said to a cab driver, you can have a TXE, it's your choice. Remember, it's a choice. And that's the whole argument. We haven't got a choice. If I said to you, Paul, what do you want? You can have a TXE or you can have that one or that one, but it ain't got a turning circle. Well, we've got no choice, and the private hire have got hundreds of vehicles of choice, right?
Yes, but the danger is we take away, give us the choice, and we become private hire.
No, we don't.
Well, that's what I've been saying to everyone. I'm saying if you don't want the turning circle, just get a private hire license, go in the apps, and you can be a private hire driver.
Yeah, but that ain't the case. Because
What's the difference?
The difference is just a turning circle.
Yeah, but if we keep what we've got, we're different to them. If we get rid of what we've got, we're the same as them.
Yeah, but we don't get rid of what we got. We keep what we got, but we have a
As
choice.
a choice, yeah, but...
But your choice is, if we take away the turning circle, what's to prevent me now from buying a Prius? What's my specifications for the
It ain't
cab?
got a partition, it ain't got wheelchair ramps.
So I need wheelchair ramps, I need a petition.
Listen, TfL could set the agenda, right, to say, like, how did the Mercedes Vito come about, right? That didn't look nothing like a TX4, right? But it got passed, right?
Because of the rear wheel steer.
Because of rear wheel steer. And
Yeah.
everyone, myself including, who's had a Vito, would say they're great cabs. The only trouble I had was with the add-ons, yeah? Mechanically, they
Penzo.
were great. The Penzo bits give me trouble, right? And so, if you come out, if there was brand new and they only had to be black, no silvers, no light blue metallics, any vehicle that come into London would have to be like a Vito, that sort of size, a people carrier. I've got a better picture than that.
Is that it? That's what you're talking about? That's a
No,
vehicle-
it's not that one.
No?
It's a different one. It's being built in a brand new factory in Turkey by Ford.
But Grant, do you think... Let me ask you something.
Yeah, go on.
LEVC have invested about £1 billion in the cab trade.
Yeah.
And they're probably not making a profit.
They're losing money every
They're
year.
losing money.
Right.
So then Ford come along with something without a turning circle. So they've obliged to every law, every condition of fitness there is.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden Ford comes along with their massive multinational, comes in with a cheaper vehicle that doesn't look like a taxi, and they're allowed to circumnavigate. All of a sudden they've changed the law. Is it fair on them? Do we care?
Yeah, but does the cab trade owe LEVC
No,
our
it
future?
doesn't. Well,
Yeah?
a little
because
bit.
if I drive a Mercedes Vito and I've literally just bought a 5-year-old TXE, right?
Yeah.
About a month ago.
Yeah, I was there when I was.
Yeah,
I see you. I
yeah.
see
The
you
one
up there.
that was 5
Silver
years
one.
old. It come back after warranty. Yeah.
You didn't buy a black one, though.
I didn't know. I didn't have one with that low mileage, right? Well, what I'm saying is, if you're a Vito owner and I'm saying you've got to put up with X, Y, and Z, you say, well, I've had a Vito. There's nothing wrong with a Vito. My passengers like it. I'll take you to Heathrow Airport. 80% of the drivers love a Mercedes Vito.
Yeah.
That don't look like a TX4 or a TXE. But it does the job. And I don't know. What are we saying then? That we keep this monopoly, we price out a lot of older drivers. We absolutely put a noose around the neck of suburban drivers. So when we lose the suburbs, who's there to fill the gap? Private hire, right? We are modern. The cab trade has evolved ever since we had old diesels with a bit of a damp start in the hose in the morning, right? So we got these lovely vehicles. We take cards. Everything about the cab trade has moved forward. We're not Luddites. The cab trade spent over £500 million on vehicles, right?
Yeah.
And what I'm saying is, you look at any other business, it moves, right? But we've sort of said, well, that's what you got. That's what you're having.
Oh, yeah, no, as a business
And
plan,
you're
we're
going to have to
terrible.
pay for it,
Yeah.
yeah?
So
I would like a vehicle to be a competition for mainly because of the problems we're now seeing.
Yeah.
We're seeing problems that are now still there after 6 years.
Yeah.
If it was just a couple of years, I think I would have accepted it because it's teething trouble. But when this teething trouble just stays with a vehicle, it's completely unacceptable.
I don't know.
It's
You've got
to
short
stay.
memories. I mean, there hasn't been a vehicle that we've ever had that didn't have problems.
We just
Because-
spoke about the Vito.
Well, the
Yeah.
Vito, but the thing with the Vito is
TX1, TX2,
there's
TX4.
companies out there that are renting actuators out just for the NSL.
Yeah, I know,
And then
yeah.
they just take them off.
I used to rent them.
Well, there you go. And this is the thing. So, they're out there already without the turning circle, aren't they?
Yeah.
But my view is that we should stay traditional, and the turning circle is something that I use more than once a day in London when I'm on a shift because it gets you out of trouble, gets you turning.
One minute.
And the whole point of the knowledge is you know which direction you're going to go in.
Yes.
At any one time.
But Dave's driven HGVs.
Yeah.
So,
Have you, Dave? You never said.
Yeah, I've not mentioned that.
No, you never mentioned it.
Dave, how much of a driving hindrance do you think it would be that we drive a taxi that's got no turning circle and we just doing our same job? We need to turn
Well, it's
around.
far easier with a turn, so it's obvious, and you can't say it's not. But
No,
yeah,
you can't.
but would it stop you from getting about? No, you just take a bite, wouldn't you? That's what they say in the truck anyway. You should do.
So-
You should try and take a bite. And the reason you should try and take a bite is because you rip the shit out of the tarmac.
Take a bite.
Yeah, have a shunt. So like, instead of putting if you've got an Arctic, and you've got it's wide enough, you can jackknife it and turn it around by jackknifing it. Don't do it. Pull forward and back it in like as if you was a car.
Yeah.
So that you don't, because if you've got a triaxle trailer, you will rip the hell out of the tarmac. You'll tear all the tarmac and the tyres too. They tear them all up. So it's just take a bite. In other words, have a shunt.
Yeah.
Rather than doing that, because obviously even with a turning circle, you're ripping the life out of your tyres, aren't you? If you're doing it.
In my Vito, I wouldn't use the rear wheel steer in case the green light come on and was flashing. You think, oh no.
Yeah, so they're not using it in the Vito,
They're not
are they?
using it. A majority of people are not using it, right? But they're going about their job on a daily basis. Listen, people think I'm anti LEVC, right? I'm not. But what I'm anti is something that harms the future of the cab trade, because we're shrinking as a trade. And if you've got a really expensive vehicle, I go to meetings at TfL and the private hire say stuff like the English language requirement and this and the test is all that is a barrier to entry. Right? You try and do 3 years on the knowledge and then have to buy $100,000 vehicle. Let me tell you, that's a real barrier to it.
Yeah, but the thing is, we've always had a turning circle. So why is it suddenly that being the problem? Why? What? Because of the cost of the cab's always been relative to.
Wouldn't Ford put it on then? When you
Well, I
spoke to
just
them?
think it is such a.
It's
I don't think they would. I
No,
don't think they
don't.
would, because I think the plan is to sell it all around the country, right?
Yeah.
They got a diesel one that would be out of London. They got an EV plug-in one that would fit London, and they got an all-electric one that would fit London as well.
I remember doing not the Albany taxi, the one that goes to Malden, done the Malden taxi
Oh,
run.
okay.
And that was when the TXE first came out, and I was the only one who had one on the run. And Ford had their science factory at Stratford, and all these guys came out and was all over it. Can we have a look inside? Can we have a look under the bonnet? I was like, why? They were like, oh, we work for Ford and we're trying to develop the electric Ford.
Yeah.
So maybe that's all got something to do with it.
Maybe it has.
Yeah, it's just come into my head. That's pretty mad, actually.
I don't know. I just think, right. I know everyone says, well, they're going to be dear anyway, so might as well keep what we got. But me personally, right, and this is me, Grant Davis, personal. It's not London Cab Drivers Club, policy and all that sort of stuff, because it's down to choice.
Yeah.
It is down to choice. And if I want to go and buy a brand spanking new Ford 6-seater, aircon, plug-in hybrid, and I do not have to worry about a rear wheel steer, and people come out to my cab and go, oh, this is new. This is lovely, isn't it? Oh, this is nice. They get in. Oh, I've done the knowledge. I've got my badge. I'll take them to where they want to go in absolute comfort and safety, yeah? And if they're in a wheelchair, I'll get them out of the wheelchair, yeah? If they're hard of hearing, I've got the hearing loop. If the eyes are not that great, I've got grab handles and patches on the seats. Every part of what a cab gives to the public is still going to be there. How many passengers do you think really come in and say, "Has this got a turning circle?"
No, but there is a look. You don't think there's a look that we portray?
look is the thing.
Well, there is
well.
a look, but a TXE don't look like a TX4, and the TX1 didn't look like a Fairway, and the Fairway don't look like a Vito, and the Vito really don't look like a Nissan Dynamo, right? But guess what? The public know it's a taxi because it says taxi on the roof, yeah?
So this is the debate, okay? Because this is the point we're getting at, is that you should be able to say all this without being...
Attacked.
Well, yeah, what's the word for it?
Yeah, on the list.
Yeah, on the list.
What I don't like seeing out there is one of these variations with "this is a taxi" written all over.
Yeah.
I hate seeing that.
Was that the Nissan, wasn't it?
That had it, and so did the Merc had it, and some of them have still got it on them.
Paul, is there any competitor at the moment, or are we down to one taxi?
We're down to one taxi, and when the Nissan Dynamo came out eventually after the TXE, I think that most of the people that bought it, they bought it out of spite because they hated
LEVC.
And they paid for their spiteful price, though,
they
didn't they?
paid for it, and then they went out of business. And I knew it was coming because of the size of the vehicle. I went and checked it out. The size of the vehicle, the wheels were tiny. You couldn't get the disabled thing. There was no aircon in the back. Prop didn't work. The range wasn't really long enough because it was just fully electric, and a lot of cab drivers live out of town.
Yeah.
You can't use it for the airport. I mean, it goes on and on and on and on. So
I think if you live in town, right? If you live in
it was
Islington,
cheaper.
you live in Islington,
Perfect.
you're full time, you can charge overnight, You ain't got no big mortgage or that. The kids are off your hands.
Perfect.
It's perfect.
Perfect.
Right? It's
'Cause
perfect.
most people don't have 6 people with them or 5 people with them.
And that's the thing with the cab trade. Every cab driver has got different financial responsibilities, right?
But it was niche. It was niche. And that's what I said to the woman that was running the group. I said, I think your cab's a bit niche. I think it doesn't apply. She went mental. She didn't like that I was saying what it was, you know, and I thought there's going to be problems down the line with this, you know, and there was. So
There was, yeah.
you know,
and
it's a shame because I said to him, I wanted it. I wanted it to come. I wanted it to be good.
What I remember is when the Euro 4 Vito first come in, when KPMs were selling them £120 a week, right?
Yeah.
And they all come on the road. The public liked them. They're nice and big, right? Forget about the rear wheel steer. Let's talk about the public, right? They liked them. Loads of space for luggage, airport runs, nice and big. I mean, I always thought that when the Vito come into London, it put a kick up the bum of LTI, yeah?
It did. And my first cab was a Vito. I loved the Vito.
Yeah.
It was nothing wrong with it. The rear wheel steer was a problem. The doors were a bit of a problem.
Yeah.
But it was a great cab, and I'm sad that we lost it.
And I just think
Why can't it
the
come
reason
back?
why it was a great cab was because I think it's Mercedes, right?
Yeah.
It's a major player, world manufacturer. And that's why when I heard about this Ford, my ears pricked up, because you are looking at a major manufacturer, right? Got a brand new factory in Turkey that they're making these brand new transits, right?
Having said all that, is there a chance that ever, do you think, Ford may do it?
What, put a turning circle on it?
Well, or do you think that maybe TfL may change? Do you think, is there a possibility either way?
It's probably going to end up in a legal challenge this year.
Is it?
Oh, this year. From the club or from
No,
other
not from the
orgs?
club.
From LTDA?
No.
From the UCG?
TfL?
No.
From the RMT?
No.
Here's the clue. 3 syllables.
Well, I'm thinking if you want to bring a vehicle into London, and
It's got to be the manufacturer, isn't it?
You'd have to make a case to TfL why you think that this vehicle should be allowed. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so the manufacturer is going to maybe try to make a case.
That's all. If you want to bring a vehicle into London, right?
There's a guy in compliance who
all
will
I'm
not like it.
you have to get past Alec Moffat.
That's the
right?
mate. I'm not going to say names,
no,
right?
I'll say it.
Yeah.
Probably hate me anyway.
Yeah.
But all I'm saying is, if you're going to bring a vehicle into London, it's going to have to jump over the hurdles of TfL. Yes. And if they try it and you know they go no, then probably the next step might be court or something like that.
Yeah. But is it one man? Alex is the one man stopping it?
No.
There's a few. But the thing is, I mean, look at the fights Georgie Vise used to have, God rest his soul, Georgie, of getting a radio in the cab and having chrome number plate things. I mean, we still live really in the dark ages, and a lot of people might say, no, I want the carriage office to be the gatekeeper of the cab trade and keep it as it is. But I'm just trying to think we need to move on, right?
Well, yeah, no, we definitely do. But we also need to be able to talk to each other, but disagree at the same time. And I don't disagree with a lot of what you said, but I know that probably yourselves, the club and the UCG probably clash in the terms of the turning circle.
Oh yeah, we've had, and if you agree with the conditions of fitness, then when you look at it, you agree that there should be a 12-year age limit, right? Because that's in the
yeah, I'm not in agreement. Yeah, that shouldn't be there.
No, that's what I'm saying. No. It's not just.
What should it be? How many years should it be?
Forever.
I think what's a disgrace is this mayor was quick enough to take 3 years off of a diesel cab, right? And say, dirty diesels, get rid. So it made the cab driver think, I've got to buy this new clean cab, right? But that's only 15 years. The same as a Euro 6 diesel, right? But we couldn't buy diesels anymore, yeah? I thought that what TfL should have done and the mayor should have done is look at the LEVC, right? And say, if you buy an LEVC, it's 20 years, right? Or put them 3 years off the pet diesel onto that. So an LEVC could be 18 years, right? Because then all of a sudden, if you're doing the maths, or if you can afford it, having it for 18 years might be better for you than 15. And why I say that is you could get drivers go, well, I'm going to buy it, right? I'm going to retire in 10 years. And then if I come to sell it, I've got 8 years on that plate, which is going to make it...
Why not forever?
Well, they won't have it forever, will they?
Well, it's an electric vehicle. It's got no emissions. So therefore, if you keep... You're going to give me the overall idea still. It goes in. It's still fit. It has to be immaculate. You got... cars from the 1920s that are mint condition.
Yeah, but they don't do heavy miles.
No, but Paul, when we did this Fairway, you kept it mint. Bodywork got damaged. It went straight in. The bodywork got repaired. It had chrome
I agree
bumpers.
with you, Dean. I think LEVC should be, as long as it passes its test.
It's on the road.
You know, it's 2 MOTs and it's NSL test. That like the old days.
Yep.
That because if you've got over 100 grand vehicle, right? That is a quality vehicle, you could say, right? So if every year it passes, until the day when it don't pass, then it comes off the road. That should have been it, right?
I don't agree with this. I'll tell you why. There's a business behind it, and you can't just keep fixing stuff and not selling stuff. It won't work.
But there's the business of the being green, isn't it?
I'm more in with your 18 or 20. And I'll tell you, we could end up like Cuba.
Yeah.
All these old cabs that are really not for
Go and look
purpose
at
really in the end. But the 1820, I quite like that.
Because they took 3 years off of that end, but they didn't put the 3 years on that end, right? So if they're saying to drivers to encourage to buy this greener, more expensive vehicle, listen, we understand the cost, right? That $7,500 loan, not loan, the grant, that could be coming off in a couple of months, right? So if that comes off, with interest, the cab would be about 120 grand, right?
Correct him, Paul.
Well, it's going up every minute.
Yeah.
Well, it could be 130 grand. Well, which brings me back to we need a choice.
Yeah. The cab's a price and the finance is another price. The cab changes in price when finance and
the interest rates go up and down.
World conditions.
Well, I want to go back to the diversiveness thing because basically what just happened was I'm one extreme, keep it forever. You've said no less, and you've gone for the 18, and you've agreed with 18. So if we are different organisations here, we have to come up with an agreement and say, fair enough, I was this, that, and the other. Let's go for the middle ground, which is used to of the 18, maybe 20 years lifespan, and. That's what our industry, the one organisation idea is always been my idea. And also, for me, I'm not a left-wing nutcase, but it needs to be compulsory. We're a 20,000 people.
Being a member.
You need to be a compulsory.
They won't, because...
How about
I know so many cab drivers who the thought of giving me... Why did I say me? The thought of giving...
Because you have got the house in Barbados since you've been...
I've got one in Grenada. It was like this. I'll tell you what's funny, right? When I bought my second-hand cab from LEVC, the Twitter campaign and went, Grant Davis has got a brand new cab free from LEVC, right? Yeah. And I went to a geezer, went, yeah, it's a brand new 5-year-old one. See her off, right? Yeah. Whatever you say, the trolls are going to have their say, yeah? But I think for this, I've always thought it for years, right? Uber should have been a lesson to us. Divided we fall, united we stand, right? Yeah. And, excuse me, every driver that's got one of these should want to protect the future of our industry and their job, right? So whether your wife's got a lovely job and you're only part-time, or you're a musher who's come out, you've got a big mortgage, a big cab, and you say, I'm doing 7 days a week, I'm up against it, right? At the end of the day, you want to protect that industry. Because if the industry's safe, then garages are safe, because it's a healthy industry. Yeah. We always go from one crisis to another, right? And like I mentioned about UTAG, how come so many cab drivers who earn their wages every day driving a cab didn't want to put in, right? And I remember I went to City Hall once when we was having big arguments about Uber. And I come outside and you get drivers, what Grant, what do you think, mate? And I said, every cab driver should be in an organisation, yeah? Mm-hmm. And even if you paid, say there was 20,000 and you was putting in 200 a year, right? 1 day's work a year, you put that in. What's that? 4 million a year, right? So when people start saying, you need to go court about that, look at Uber, they're on the telly, they've got lobbyists, right? The reason cab cab trade don't go to court over everything, it's because of money. You know, UTAG and the LTDA done the bus lanes, they still owe shed loads of money, right? The bills have not been paid yet. So that's massive, right, for the trade. And the reason the cab trade seems to be all mouth and trousers is because the drivers, who are the trade, want everyone to do it without giving you a dinar. The majority want the minority to do it all for them. And that would be okay if they said, yeah, I'm in the an imaginary group, the London taxi trade group, right? And everyone put in it, right? And they would be right to say to me, Grant or Trevor or Steve, what are you doing about this? And you had this organisation that was really democratic. People got voted in and voted out, right? That sends a few shakes down the backs of people. But you get voted in, voted out, and every cab driver's in it. Every cab driver's a member. And then if something like when Uber was here, we could have got lobbyists. We could have paid for big lobbying companies, yeah? Advertising campaigns, right?
Who's against this?
The majority of cab drivers.
Yeah.
Because the majority of cab drivers are in nothing, yeah?
The problem
So
we've
we're
got...
And I'll sit in the cafe having me dinner in the corner, and I'll get drivers come up with a copy of the badge, and they go to me, you know what you want to do? I've read that badge. You know what you got to do? And I'll say, you know what you got to do?
Do one.
Leave me alone, mate, you know.
Put some money in.
And you go, oh, yeah, no, that's a good idea, you know, because I'm quite affable, right? And I'll say, I am. I know I might seem like I'm a bit of a knothead. I'm not. I'm just passionate. That's the difference, right?
You all are. That's the thing.
I know we all are, but
are.
we're talking about something that's given me a living for 35 years, right? 3 years on the knowledge. So for nearly 40 years, my life's been driving the cab, the knowledge and all that, right? I put my chin above the parapet to be shot down on a regular basis, right? If I didn't care about the trade, I wouldn't do it. I'd just go work like the majority of cabs and leave it, right? Let everyone get on with everything, right? But again, I believe this cab trade is worth saving, right? I think the drivers have got to look at what they can do, right?
Do you think that...
We're all in it together. Whether or not people say, I'm with this lot, I'm with that lot, we're all cab drivers. We all do the same job, right?
We all do the same job, but the problem that I see is we're all self-employed. So when the trains want to go on strike, they all press a button and they all agree to strike. When we want to go on strike, or we want to have a demo, or we want to have a court case, we've got all these arguments and all these different organisations,
100%.
and no one wants to toe the line and all this. It's a scam. You know, that's what I hear on the groups that I'm on. It's a scam. Don't give them your money. Yeah. You know, there's more against it than there is for it.
Well,
and
I
you think to yourself,
when
what's the point?
I remember when the RMT come out. We had a demo about Uber, and then the RMT appeared at Trafalgar Square, right? They'd all of a sudden said, we're RMT, we're with Bob Crow. And people went, Bob Crow!
Yeah.
I love that man. Yeah, he gets all the underground out. I'm gonna leave you and join him, right? But like you said, the underground are employed.
Yeah.
We're self-employed,
Yeah.
right? So when the trains are not running and there's queues at underground stations, right? When Bob Crow says to cab drivers, withdraw your labour, drivers go, yeah, right. It's busy.
Yeah, it's and the other thing is, we're the
and
last
they never
line.
ever got that.
Yeah.
They never ever got that. And that's what I mean.
Yeah.
You know, they never see the bigger picture. Yeah. Oh, sorry, Grant. I'm leaving the club because I love Bob Crow and the RMT's going to close down London and do this and all that. Yeah. It never happened.
No.
It never happened.
Don't you feel like giving up?
I do. Well, my wife keeps saying to me, Grant, how many more years are you going to push this elephant up the stairs?
Well, yeah. No, I think for you and Trevor, you both need to take beta blockers. You're both too passionate, to be honest.
Well, you know, I've got my brother to do. I've got my two brother-in-laws, Tommy and my other brother-in-law, and my brother to be after me. I used to say to them, listen, you're wasting your time doing that job. You've got to do the knowledge, right? It's a great job. Start when you like. If you went into a job centre now and went to the woman, I'm unemployed, and she said, oh, yeah, Mr. Worthing, well, what would you like? And you said, get a pen. I want a job where I start when I like, finish when I like, as much overtime as I like, as many tea breaks as I like, go on holiday when I like. They go, next!
Yeah.
He's lost the plot, this geezer. Is he on drugs?
We hear this a lot, though, and I have drivers...
Them jobs don't exist.
No.
We've got it. So why not protect it?
Yeah.
Why? Why not? I mean, to me, I get so frustrated.
I can see.
And like you say, get me beta blockers out. Now, when my blood pressure's up, right?
Yeah.
It's because you think... I used to make the mistake that I used to think cab drivers thought like I did, right? Great job. I know it's all got its problems, right? Nothing's great nowadays, right? But all the pluses that I just said there, right? And you can work as much as you like, yeah? So if you're up against it, you can just do 7 days a week, 12 hours a day, right? It's always there for you. And that's why I always used to think cab drivers would be of that mindset. That the cab trade, my job, their job, was actually something to cherish, nurture and protect. But it seems that the majority, and it's probably always been thus, I'm all right, Jack, yeah?
Well, I was going to say that. I mean, if you go back to the 70s and 80s...
You've been stewing for an hour.
Yeah.
And the geezer turns up, he gets out, all right, Tone, to the doorman.
Yeah.
And he gets the airport in, the little cliques who run the airports and all that. Mm-hmm. I mean, so you've even got your own
doing it, but that's not new, is it?
That's not new. But what I'm saying is, all these practices and all that has just been accepted. You know?
So we're one big mafiosa family.
I'll get really upset, as you can see.
Get away.
I'll get upset and on the way
no
here,
one would have noticed. Don't worry.
He was going, Grant, don't lose your cool, mate. Just be here. And I'm like, no, of course I won't now. I'm just going to have a chat.
I think you've made some fantastic points, Grant, and full respect to you.
Don't
to be
look
honest.
at Twitter then.
Well,
we love Twitter.
We've all got our people that attack us on there. And
you're on the same list, all three of you.
Yeah. Well, I was top list, but
and Dean's trying to knock you off it.
Top of the league, and he's really disappointed. But
I'm catching him.
Out of us four, I must sit fourth.
Yeah, I ain't even on it.
You about 6. Don't get above your station, Slag.
But something really important what you said was a lot of the people that attack me, you don't know who they are.
No, they don't want to put their name.
They'll hide behind the name Mick the Cabbie or
but maybe that's why we
James,
shouldn't care.
James this or whatever, and they'll have their little badge on there or someone else's face. And you know, you might think I might know that person. That person might know a bit more about me than I thought. Do you know what I mean? But yeah,
they're cowards because when people attack me, right? I'm on Twitter. It's me. I've got to the stage now where I don't engage it. I used to, right? Because I used to think they'd make accusations about the club, the trade, you know, us being useless. And I used to feel I needed to defend it.
Yeah.
And say, no, mate, you got it wrong. This is this, that is that, and that is why we are where we are. But they don't want to hear it.
They don't want.
So in the end, I'll just go, well, you're not worthy of my time anymore because you're not in probably no org, right? Bitter man. And you can take it out on someone else, not me. And I'll just block, because I know what I'm doing.
That's your beta blocker.
Listen, I know what I'm doing.
Twitter
I
blocker.
can look in the mirror every day when I have a shave and know that everything I'm doing for the club and my members, who I do it for, really, is the best of my ability, right? And that's it.
The main thing that I get attacked for is this numbers thing, which we both agree on.
What numbers thing?
Getting the numbers up on the knowledge.
Oh, without numbers on the knowledge, there's no drivers. With no drivers, there's no hiring of cabs. There's no selling of cabs, and when eventually there's no cabs.
But they feel like
I don't have to worry about a rear wheel.
No members.
No members.
Yeah, but I don't. To me, members is nothing, right? Because I when I do stuff at the club, I get a thing called stand down, right? I think for a whole day it probably works out 40 quid, right? Cab drivers do one job in the cab and they take 40 quid, right? But the same people on Twitter would go, but that Grant Davis, I bet all them geezers in the club are having a right killing. You know what I mean? And that's the mindset.
We don't all talk out the side of our mouth, Grant.
They all say,
you do.
What's he on? What's he on, right? And that's sort of the mindset of the majority of drivers. And like the knowledge thing, right? With the club, the club attended the knowledge seminar up at City Hall, right? No one else did, I believe, right? No one else believed it because it was David Curtin, who was in UKIP, right?
Yep.
And I was really disappointed that the LTDA didn't turn up as the biggest trade org, right? TFL wouldn't turn up because they were UKIP, right? Whatever politics has got to do with the future of the cab trade, I don't know, right? Because we all have our own opinions on where we sit politically, right?
Yeah.
So we went to the knowledge thing, big seminar.
Was you there, Dean?
Yeah.
Had a big chat about everything we do with the trade. And we was flagging up then there's a problem, Dean. You know that.
Yeah, I did a whole piece on it.
And,
Yeah.
and Danny Scarf represents the club at meetings with the knowledge.
I've had a lot of chats with him on Twitter.
He went to the to TFL meetings where they said, "Oh, we've got about 4,500 or something on the 6,500." On the, I got the figures on my phone. I spoke to him before I come in, and Danny Scarf was saying to TFL, Jackie Smith, her name, "You're joking me, yeah?" She said, "No, we've got 4,500 on the blue book." He said, "That cannot be. Those must be people on the blue book from 10 years ago." "No, we have got X amount, right?" So we badgered TFL to contact every knowledge student on their books, right? And it come back that there was about 700 on the knowledge.
Yeah.
Right? Not these 4,500 that they'd said.
When was this, Grant?
Last year or the year before. I've got it all on my phone. Danny Scarf, he'd tell you on Twitter.
Yeah,
right?
I know, Danny, yeah.
So TFL was under the illusion that everything was healthy and dandy on the knowledge. We're saying to them, there's no way there's them figures on the blue book. And they're going, yes, there are. And then it was only after we badgered them, wrote letters, emails, contacted people, when they actually found out the numbers, it was shocking. It was
shocking.
truly shocking, right?
And
no one should be surprised about TFL and data and numbers, though.
No.
On anything.
And
on any subject.
And I want people sitting in my cabs, and Dean wants people in here, and that's why we're doing it. And it's nothing to do with saving the trade. You know, they get a day where they're not busy, and there's someone on this Twitter who wants more cab drivers out here, and then I get the blame for it. You know, and I think to myself, hang on a minute, like if we haven't got visage out there, if not visible out there, we're not going to get the business, and they're just going to start tapping on their phones. The public don't give a toss about whether we've got numbers or not. They don't care.
Listen, Dean and you probably know more than me on this, right? But what I'm saying is the clubs took a lot of stick by Twitter because they seem to think we want to flood the market, right?
That's right.
And the truth of the matter is,
that's right.
Because what they do, they say, the club wants more, flood the market for members, right? I don't care. I'd have 100 members and I'd still do what I do for the cab trade,
it's
right?
to replace.
We have got a situation now where we are going to lose over 1,000 drivers a year.
You.
With the 12-year age limit and the demographic, we are going to lose about 1,000, give or take, a bit more, a little bit less. For the next 3 years, we're going to lose over 3,000 drivers, right? And when you look at the figures on the knowledge now, about what, 700?
Yep.
And it's still the 30%, 70%, right?
Yep.
So we're going to lose 3,000 and replace them with what, 300?
And how many of them do you think you're going to lose?
Yeah.
Because
and the trouble
there's
is,
no one to test.
what these idiots on Twitter don't ever realise, right?
Don't call them idiots.
Well, call them what you like, right? But they don't look any further than the figures, right? They don't ever do any investigating themselves, right?
They're just talking
It's
from
their
their
attitude,
gut, aren't they?
it's their opinion, and that's all that matters, right? So if our numbers are falling now, right? So if we lose another 3,000, there'd be cab drivers out there going, "Ooh, be really busy for me," right?
But how were they feeling when they were doing the knowledge? Did they want more cab drivers
Yeah,
then?
but
or?
what they don't get is
what?
the numbers that we say we need is to stay where we are,
Yeah.
not
Exactly.
go up. To
Exactly.
stay
Yep.
to what we're going to lose.
And
them.
service
We're
the jobs that
saying
are there.
We need to lose them. We need to replace what we're losing, right? Not put another 5,000 out there. I'll get people say to me, "Yeah, you don't really remember, Grant. At Paddington, the rank used to be back down to Arrow Road." Right? I think that was during the recession. But secondly, right, we lose 3,000 drivers and there's queues at stations, right? Do you not think for 1 minute Uber, who have got their tongue so far up their backside, right, won't be saying to TFL and the mayor's
Time
office,
for a rank.
"We've done a survey and the average wait for a cab at Euston is now 47 minutes. If we have a rank over there for Uber bookings, our cars, we've had that argument about applying for hire. That boat seems to have sailed, right? So for a punter on a taxi rank, to book an Uber straight away, and I'll walk over 10 feet and get in your car, Dean, Is that what they want? Yeah,
they've already got the booking stations in the hotels, Grant.
Yeah, I know. We had that.
I'm not an Uber driver.
Yeah, but you know the trouble.
They have to have the phone anymore.
Yeah, but you know the trouble with that. I think, and this is how complex the cab trade is, and it's never black and white. Is people are going, yeah, Uber's got these stations, right? I think Halo had stations at one time, which is a black cab app, right? Yeah. But cab drivers were saying that's rubbish. They should come out and hail a black cab, right? Which you
too lazy.
Which you could put an argument for. Yeah, we need to protect the flag on the street, right? But like I said, how the trade's moved on, the public have moved on, right?
Yep.
So I'm sitting in a bar or having a bit of dinner, and I've got to get a train. It's raining outside, and I look at my app, and I want to make sure that this black cab pulls up. So when I leave that restaurant, I get in that black cab and he takes me to Euston. Not an Uber, not a mini cab, a black cab, right? So what you saying then? We do away with that? You know, and we had it all. This is what cab drivers forget. We had it all, right? When I got out and my first years of working, even up to about 20 years ago, I think, 10, 15 years, we had radio taxis. Yep. We had Comcab. We had Dialer Cab, right?
Cab, yep.
And they was all owned by the driver. They owned it, right? When they complain about Free Now and Get and all that, right? These apps are owned by venture capitalists. And they're putting money into it. Guess what for? It's called a profit, right? So we had it all. We own the radio circuits. And when I was on radio circuits and Brian Rice at Dialer Cab said we need to bring cars on the circuit, what did they do? Done nothing, because they went, yeah, I know there's cars, but Brian said we need to have cars, and also, you know, if we don't do it, someone else should do it. You know, so they agreed, the company that black cab drivers actually owned, to bring mini cabs on, right? I mean, it's
and God forbid,
we had it all and we threw it all away, yeah? And I'll tell you why I think, in my opinion, why we threw it away, because drivers just cared about what they was earning every week, every month, every year, right?
Yeah. Had it easy.
I used to say to them, I used to get up at the AGM and say, you start letting cars on the circuit now, it's going to be the death of us, yeah? And look what's happened. No circuits.
Yeah.
I think LTDA used to have a share of Comcab. They sold it. And then that went.
The circuits are now what you just said. Free now.
They're all gone.
Well, they are still circuits, but they're
but they're not owned by drivers.
They're not owned by drivers anymore. And to be fair, we did have one that tried it, and there was too many arguments, wasn't there? And if I mention it, they're all going to start shooting me down. Taxi app, we tried it, didn't work. Certain people weren't liked, and this, that, and the other, and there was people doing this and people doing that, and you know. It got shot down. Listen, another thing that got shot down, you know?
The cab trade is so, how can I say?
Volatile.
The cab trade is so divided.
Yeah.
It's like football. It's like I support West Ham, Tottenham, Chelsea, Arsenal, Brentford. Everyone's got an opinion and they seem to love knocking chunks out of each other, right? Where if you imagine, if you had one big circuit in London that everyone was on, and you had one app that every cab driver was on with that with, like I said, say everyone from London Taxi Drivers Club, right? And you had it.
What do you think we should be unify?
Well, unify, I think, is a very, very good idea.
Isn't that the one we should get behind?
I speak to Mickey, and he's saying that he don't charge no commission.
No.
There's no 20% commission or 15% commission. All they do is charge the punter £2.
Yeah, but does do the drivers own it?
I think.
Oh, he owns it.
He owns it. Yeah.
He owns it. Yeah.
But again,
and he's funding it every year. So if the drivers owned it, they would have to fund it, wouldn't they?
Well, yeah. This is the thing.
It's being funded. It's not making a profit in a minute.
They fund it from the £2 booking fee, right? But again, cab drivers have been more. They want to know more about, say, how much he's making out of it, right?
Correct.
Than what a great service it is for the cab trade.
Yeah.
So if I'm working on my apps and I'm paying 15 to 20%, at the end of the week you go, oh, fucking hell, you know, whatever. If all you was paying was zero, and you don't pay nothing, the punter pays the £2 booking fee. So you're getting exactly what's on the meter, full meter, you're getting it, right? Like you said.
But yeah, it's a great idea.
Yeah, but the reason cab drivers won't do it is because they say there's no work on it, yeah? I'm on the other app because there's work on it, yeah? Again, they won't say, you know what, it's a great idea. Let's all join it and let's maybe, you know, I had a driver in the office the other day say if everyone was on it and was talking to the passengers that they had and said you should be downloading and everything, you think of how much you earn in a year on the apps and how much your 20% comes to.
Put yourself in the punter's position.
But they don't. Yeah.
Put yourself in the punter's position that sits in a cab every day and listens to a driver selling them a new app every week. It's just going on and on. Yeah. New app this week, new app that week.
And you need money. You need money to develop an app. Advertising.
If you want to start,
that's why Free Now and Get have got the coverage because they've got the advertising. And they spend loads of money on advertising these apps. Yeah. That's the thing.
And the thing is, if you're going to go into this market and bring in an app and charge no money and expect it to be a business at the end of it, it's a massive gamble. He's took a massive, and I love Mickey. I to death. He's a great guy, but it's a huge gamble. I hope it pays off. I really do. But in a business world, no one's going to feel sorry for you.
I mean,
one's going to. Free Now and Get are not going to feel sorry for him. They're just going to keep pumping. No. Yeah, Uber don't feel sorry for us.
But Free Now and Get are independent businesses.
Yeah.
That are out there to make a profit.
Yeah.
And every driver should know that.
But right? to come in and bring an app and say I don't want profit, I just want to do it for the trade is a bit of a kamikaze idea, because at the end of the day, you've got to survive. You've got to survive. You've just got to survive.
Let me just say something here, because this is the crux of the whole issue.
Yeah.
We need to have one trade organisation. We need to have one app. Every driver needs to be in the organisation and on the one app, and everything else will follow regardless. People will know that there's only one app in London. That's the one you use. You get rid of it all. And all we need to do is just all do it. But people like Grant can't pull their finger out. They're too bloody lazy.
Yeah, exactly. How about he's only done 35 years.
Instead of going to bed at midnight, I'll go to bed at 2 in the morning and do them 2 hours development and that.
How about if you had, like you've got now, like the, however many, 5, 6, 7 orgs. How about if you had one central org, a bit like, say, UTAG, where you all had one member on it.
Yeah.
And we was all a member of that and your own.
Yes.
Do you understand? So there is a central body where it goes to a vote and
that's
you have
a
an
good
agreement.
Idea. Sorry, that's a great idea. And to be honest, that was one of the things I supported UTAG, but that was one of the things that I didn't really sort of agree with from the off, is that it seemed to be just controlled by a couple of people, right? And I just thought for it to be called United Trade Group, right?
Should have been everyone.
We should have been sitting around the table every month or whatever, me, Steve, Trevor, Jim, all the recognised trade groups, right, and a couple of other interested parties, and say, right, look, this is the situation. We're going to go court with that or not, and debate it. Right?
Yes, like you do in a parliament.
You debate it, whether it's got value, because there was things that happened that the club said we don't believe that's going to work. We're not in, and got dog abuse on Twitter, and guess what? It didn't go through, right?
Yes, but knowing that it doesn't work isn't a reason to not be in.
No, it's not.
So the consensus...
No, Dean. If I'm asking my members sub money, my members who go to work in the cab and give me subs and say, Grant, this is your money to do the best for the cab trade, I can't say, it ain't going to work, but, I'm going to make this gesture.
But then, Grant, someone believed it would work.
I won't take the piss out of my members like that, yeah? That's why we got a committee, because we sit and we debate about stuff, right? And my members trust me and my committee to make the right decisions. And we've never made a wrong decision. And I'm not saying it with an head like that. I'm not. I'm just saying on this thing that drivers are going to watch, the club has never made a wrong call, ever. Yeah, we've been vilified for it, but we've never made a wrong call.
We're putting forward an idea between us. The 4 different ideas coming up. Now, 2 of you think it's the wrong idea, but 2 of you think it's the right idea. But you think you've got another idea and your 2 ideas are different. So at some stage, you have to decide one of these ideas has to be put into play. Now, you back out with all your members because you're not in part of that because you don't think it'll work. The other person thinks, yes, it probably will work. At some stage, you have to say, well, we're all in this together. And I don't think
we wasn't all in it together. That's what I'm saying. The decisions were being made by a couple of individuals, nothing to do with the club.
Yeah.
Although they didn't want an input, they just wanted money. Yeah, and
so you had to.
Like you said,
I understand.
If we all sat round a table, we could debate it and put the reasons why we thought that wouldn't fly. Yeah, and they read it, give it to their lawyers who might look at it and go, you know what?
Yeah.
You could have one vote for every org or every club or whatever, and one person on that committee to have a central committee.
There's so many risks to driving.
Listen, if there was half a dozen of you around the table and they had a vote and 4 to 2 or 5 was for it, then you would abide by the rules, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And you would say, yeah, I don't agree, but there's our check, right? But until you get, like I said, no taxation, no representation, right? If you don't have a voice in it.
Well, maybe we people should watch this and say, look, get together, let's have a meeting with everybody and talk about something like this.
But I tell you what, the trouble is, I think if we're not careful, the cab trade can start slipping, right? I don't think there's an appetite, unfortunately, for one big trade org, right? It's a shame, but I don't think there would be.
What was the birth of LCDC? What did you come out the fire of?
It was the Metrocab Club. It was drivers who owned a Metrocab who was getting short shifted.
I love them.
Yeah, the worst cab ever invented.
So he's still doing it. He's still promoting these other cabs.
And they done it. Yeah, that's a weird one, but that's quite true. Yeah. And that's how it all developed. Yeah, they took it.
So
up,
it truly is a club that became an organisation.
It used to be called the Metrocab Club because drivers who had bought a Metrocab who was having issues and problems, they joined to have a voice. Yeah, and it just developed from there. And then we started doing. Like they was really big. Tony Casey was doing things like outside nightclubs, with the tats, highlighting it, parking caravans outside nightclubs, and just to raise it up a bit, right? Because a lot of cab drivers are in the trade group because they go, I'm only in it for legal cover, right? That's the biggest thing you hear, right?
Yeah.
But I think we got more issues than just having legal cover and saying that's it. I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but the legal cover is an excellent
Because I think the
enticement.
cab
And the thing
trade
is, a lot
could
of
be so active.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a situation years ago where the tats had taken over Nobu, right, and that nightclub, and used to they'd be having the pictures of the doorman on the front of trade papers going like idiot and all that. They never addressed the issue, right? So I've got family out of Essex who do security and stuff like that, right? Right, chaps. And I said to the committee, listen, we got to try and do something. Because Thursday, Friday, Saturday night, they was just eating us alive, right? The cab drivers trying to get on the rank outside, but it was full of mini cabs. The geezer outside with the book, and again, cab drivers go, look, I'd like to get out and give them one, but I'll lose my licence.
Yeah.
You got everything to lose. They got nothing to lose, right?
Correct.
So I had this little meeting, right? And I think it was a Thursday night. It was really getting quite heated down there, right? I had coats made up, London taxi security on the back. Got them there nice and early, right? Parked up, got them on. Got them outside Nobu, one at the cab rank, 2 outside Nobu, right? The mini cabs would be on the rank. They'd go, wait, off. It's a cab rank. Get off now. They'd all go. Cabs would put it out on Twitter, please support the rank. And it ran like wildfire. The doorman was crying, right? And we funded
From love or hate?
because his job was going.
Not earning no money.
Because they're on kickbacks, isn't they, right? And the club, which is so small in comparison to other groups, right? We actually funded that ourselves, our own initiative, and we had doormen there for about 3 or 4 weeks, and in the end, the tats just give up the ghost, right? Because every night they'd drive past and they were there. The cab trade started using it more, and it all come back to normality. And why I mention that is because if we had this big org, right, with funds, right, at that time there was like Tiger, and there was other clubs, right? Yeah. And if you had the money and there was a problem, you could go, right, you're doing that tonight, you two are there, right? Yeah. Taxi marshals, bomb. Instead of drivers being in nothing, right, and they'll go, look at the state of this, look at them outside there. How do they think problems get solved? Yeah. Yeah? And it costs money. Yeah. So if you don't want to give me 15 quid a month or a trade org 15 quid a month to actually do stuff, how do you think it gets done? How do you think? Think about it. How do you get done?
Well, I go to Wimbledon and you see how much of a mess the ranks are down there now, because it just gets left. Where it used to be marshalled really well, there's the yellow badge drivers down there have made up their own little sign, like with a felt tip pen, and you think,
and the airport, the airport's a mess.
The airport's a mess.
But again, we're so divided.
Yeah.
And drivers I'm in competition with you.
Yeah.
I'm in competition with him.
Yeah.
There's 20,000 drivers all in competition with each other, right? But the one thing we all want is people in the back of their cab with our meter on, right? But that doesn't even seem close to bringing us together, right? Because, like I said, if we had one trade group, one lot of money, one office, right? One trade group deals with all the stuff that you do, the PCNs, the complaints, this, that, and the other. You've got money in the bank for lobbyists to do lobbying in Parliament that the other mob all do, right? You could have like knowledge boys doing the marshalling.
Yeah.
You could get hold of EFRO and actually say to them, all right, we'll pay. Because at the moment, there's talk about having taxi desks, right? And they put money on the gate that's going to fund it, right? But if you think about it, we got one of the biggest airports in Europe, if not the world, at Heathrow, right? But the cab trade is so scattergun, we've never ever sat round and got it together. So the black cabs work the airport.
Yeah.
I know they work it now, but have it proper. We have it proper locked down for the cab trade,
Well,
we don't.
You get your badge now and you can't work the airport.
I don't, because of the tags.
Afterwards, you got anything to add, Dave?
No, I think we're good, because I don't think I would say it'd be great to have Grant back, because I think he's got so much to say, so much more.
But we need to pick the
some more blood
subject.
pressure tablets before I come
I
back.
don't think there's enough time in one to get it and to get it good. So I would say leave it and come back again, and then
Listen,
we'll have a few more
quite happy.
subjects and watch back on
I'm
it.
quite happy to come back because, I've got the voice, with the badge and stuff, I can put what I like and stuff. But I just think the cab trade, not me, this isn't about Grant Davis, chairman of the London Cab Drivers Club. It's not. And this isn't a promotion, join the club. It's not, right? If you ain't in it, you're probably never going to join it anyway, right? What I'm saying is the cab trade really, really needs to come together, right? And work together for one common goal. And that's the future of the cab trade.
And to be fair to Grant and to all the other ones that have been on here, because I've been in all three, and they've all said the same thing. They've all said, I'm not here for myself. I'm here. I want you all to join an organisation. Not me. It doesn't have to be me. It could be Grant or it could be Trevor.
It's like voting, isn't it?
Just be in one. Be in one.
And don't mind not telling you who to vote for.
The amount of times I've got drivers on my fleet ringing me up going, what am I going to do because this has happened? I'm like, why are you ringing me?
Yeah.
Not that I can't help you, because I want to help you, but are you with Grant or Trevor or Steve?
And the funny thing is, right, with garages, right, cab drivers rent a cab. Sorry?
Garages?
Garages.
Oh, garages. Sorry.
We're not
I said cabbages.
I thought you said garages.
I'll clean your ears out.
Garages.
I think he's hungry. I think he was talking about a restaurant or something.
What I'm saying is, and the thing is that, say I rent a cab from a garage, I'm giving them, say, 300 quid a week, right?
Yeah, you'll be lucky.
Say I'm giving them 300 quid a week, right? Yeah, we'll be lucky. So I'll give them 300 quid a week. And then I'm thinking I'm in trouble with the police and all that.
Yeah.
You give a garage 300 quid a week, right? So that's like 1,200 a month. But you wouldn't dream of giving the LCDC or others in the market 15 quid a month, right? To protect you. If you get PCNs, complaints and all that. Yeah. Like I've said to you earlier, I ain't going to repeat myself. I could never get my head around cab drivers not wanting some protection and a voice. To safeguard the job that has been keeping them in a lifestyle for years.
We say it on the group all the time for the knowledge guys. It's free. You
From
don't
the
even
beginning.
have to pay anything.
You do that as well?
We do the knowledge. It's free.
students?
Yeah. We help the knowledge boys. They come, and we've got a few that have said in the past, I've got this, I've got a bit of trouble here. I've had a bit of this, and we help them out.
Where are you? When you say come, where are you?
We're in Bermondsey, Drummond Road. We've got a website, Twitter, all the usual gumph, right? And we're all working cab drivers.
Yeah.
Like you said, Danny Scarf.
Yeah.
He's amazing.
Yeah.
I've got Mark White at the airport. Amy is the only full-time staff from 10 till 5 in the office in Bermondsey. We do driver's licensing problems, medicals. We've got Heather Rawlinson who does the PCNs. you know, Mickey Walker, who does the treasurer, used to be an economics guy at university. So I think I've got I've got a fantastic committee, right? And every one of us is full-time cab drivers who just want the trade to survive and prosper.
And so it will.
That is it. There's no hidden agenda. I could earn much more money if I just drove a cab, right? But it's in me now.
Yeah.
I can't. I'll probably. The only time I'm gonna leave is when I drop down dead. Yeah. So if you're behind me in the feeder park and I ain't moved for an hour, someone phone me wife for God's sake. Yeah.
Grant Davis, thank you very much for coming on behalf of the
absolute pleasure,
LCDC.
gents. Thank you.